The Iowa Caucus 2020 is tonight, and that's why we're speaking with Klein, political director of ABC News. All right, let's start off with the big question. The one person who won't be in Iowa today, Mike Bloomberg, calling California his Iowa, focusing on Sacramento, as you know, Fresno, and Compton a little bit later on today. Do you think it's a smart move?
Well, I'll tell you, Brittany, there's going to be a lot of interest in Michael Bloomberg in just a couple of weeks' time. He's ensured that by blanketing the country with some $300 million in ads, already setting records. And I think depending on the results in Iowa, it could become a more intriguing candidacy in the coming days. People are going to be wondering what's going on with the party, particularly if Bernie Sanders wins. I think there'll be more interest in who can beat Bernie Sanders. A lot of Democrats will be concerned about whether his version of the Democratic Party is the one they want to ascribe to. And Joe Biden's candidacy, how strong he is out of these early states, is critical. So, look, there's a lot that has to get played out over these next couple of weeks, but looming on the other side of this is Michael Bloomberg with his virtually unlimited pocketbook.
Yeah, and so that brings me to this question. Out of everyone, who do you think, if anyone, intimidates President Trump?
I think Bloomberg has clearly gotten under his skin, and if you look at his tweets and the Super Bowl interview, you recognize that there's something about Bloomberg that scares the president a little bit. I also think, frankly, that Bernie Sanders represents some real matchup problems. I know people close to the president are convinced that Bernie Sanders would have done better than Hillary Clinton and won some of the working class areas that Hillary Clinton ended up falling short along in the upper Midwest. So, look, there's some grand debates right now about how the Democrats take back the White House. Do you go through kind of the traditional Democratic routes, or do you do something that inspires young people and people of color to vote in very large numbers and change the electoral equation that way? We don't know which one's right. That's in part how Democrats are going to have to figure things out over these next couple of months.
Okay, so speaking about being right, a lot of people say Iowa is, the first indicator on who might face President Trump. The last three people that they have chosen, John Kerry, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, have been the nominees. So why do you think that is?
Well, I think it is a winnowing process, and I'll tell you, even if candidates don't drop out tonight, Iowa's already done that. I think people like Kamala Harris, Beto O'Rourke, Cory Booker, they tried to catch on in Iowa, and it didn't work. And maybe that's the right way, maybe that's the wrong way to pick a president, but rightly or wrongly, people invest in this state, they meet people door to door, they hang out in their living rooms, they answer questions at town halls, and it either works or it doesn't. And the candidates that are left standing, or the 6 or 7 that are making big plays in Iowa, were among a group of 25 that started out the process. So already it has had that winnowing impact. And again, people will argue forever as to whether this is the best way to choose a nominee or choose a president, but people pay a lot of attention because it's first.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this too, impeachment. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, both stuck in D.C. for the impeachment, not in Iowa. Do you think it will hurt them?
Well, it certainly hasn't helped that they've had to spend as much time as they've had to back in Washington, and they're shuttling back and forth. I mean, even last night, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren went right from Super Bowl watch parties to planes that were waiting for them at the Des Moines airport to get back to D.C. for impeachment. I don't think they'll be punished particularly for spending as much time as they are doing their day jobs, especially when that day job is trying to get rid of President Trump right now. But it isn't an ideal way to close things out, and it's added to a sense of uncertainty here in Iowa.
Well, thank you so much for all your updates. I follow you on Twitter. We're going to be following you throughout the day. It's going to be a big day in politics, and we look forward to you updating us throughout the day, weeks, and months ahead.
Thank you so much.